All right, I reckon we're live. Here we go. I need to work on entrance music. Remind me.
Da, 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 da.
It's the final countdown.
What are we doing today, Coach Kevin?
Are we doing University of the Riva?
Sure.
Alright. So we can go into just like a basic like training, just like drilling entry into De La Riva or reverse De La Riva. Because normally I encounter reverse De La Riva when I'm trying to stop a knee cut, but for the sake of just like starting and figuring out what's going on with the De La Riva or reverse De La Riva, it's easier just to have a person, be cooperative. So I have my Ethan standing up, right? The hand, its job is to control the ankle here. So I'm scooping in between my hip and the ankle here, and this allows me to use my bicep to help pull myself underneath my person here, right? The hook, right? What I want is maximal surface area contact between my leg and the Ethan's leg here, right? So I'm almost trying to like climb my leg up, and I want the foot to be like hooking like almost up towards the hip here, right? A lot of first timers, right? They're like just bringing this foot across here, but there's like right now not zero, like very little of my leg is in contact. So what I think about is I want my head to almost be underneath Ethan's here, and this will allow my foot to wrap around and connect myself to Ethan here. And this way I can use my hamstring to help pull, right? By bringing my heel in, it helps pull my hip around this angle here, which is nice. Right? So in combination with the bicep, we get a lot of ability to move ourselves towards my opponent, right? So that's going to be the pull aspect of this guard, right? Because when we're controlling a person, we want to be able to push and we want to be able to pull, right? So we've got two pulls, and the push is going to be this other foot here, right? This will keep Ethan from crowding my space, right? So I use the pulls to keep myself connected. I use the push to maintain and manage distance, right? So when we're first starting out, right, I want to be able to move myself around Ethan here, right? I've got a good connection to his hip, right? I can kind of manipulate his weight, right? And then this is how we're going to be annoying with our reverse De La Riva guard, right? So to start out with the reverse De La Riva, right? My favorite drill is like the Kiss of the Dragon one, right? So what I like to do is I like to start with a push, right? That way the person on top is inclined to push their weight back into you, otherwise they fall down, right? So, right? So Ethan's got a good base, he's like acting like we're training, so I can push, and then when I feel his weight, now I can pull myself underneath him here, right? And I like to try and get my center of gravity right underneath his, and then I can get into this kind of reverse X type position, right? And then from here we can stretch him out and escape here. All right, because usually with this reverse De La Riva, what I want to do is I want to get underneath him, and I can start disrupting his base that way. All right, so push and pull. Right, I'm using this arm here to help finish my hip rotation, and I want to end up with his shin, like right up on my shoulder here, nice and tight. I have this arm hooking his leg, and I've got both of my legs here, able to extend them away, and now I can start coming up here.
Can you take them the other way so they can see what you're doing on the other side? Yeah, you can do it that way.
Pushing, and then my legs and my arms work in unison to help pull myself underneath, right? So when I get here, this is where I transfer my leg from being behind his leg here to in this X, right? And then I want to control his knee here. I've got his calf pinched between my shoulder and my head, and now I can extend him out. Come on. Oh!
Consider yourself one.
Right, so as you get comfortable with this, right, then we can start lowering the amount of space. Right, so instead of having Ethan stand, right, he can kneel with one foot up. Right. Get set here, right, and same thing, right? I'm holding myself underneath, there's now a little bit less space, right? So there's some adjustments that'll have to be made in order to complete that move.
Same thing?
Yep. Alright, so I want to pull underneath here. This hand helps pull me the rest of the way. Right? And here, because this leg isn't up, I prefer to go into this like basically back control with our hooks in here. Right? And we can make this connection, either start scooting our hips out, or we're ready for him to like roll over to his side. Right? Because then we're in a nice crab ride, and from here we can take the back. And just getting used to staying connected to our person. Nice and mobile. I like to hold on to the ankles here. This gives me this, an aspect of control. It keeps me from just running away until I'm able to come up and get my hip control. All right. From here, I can either come up or I'm ready to stay attached while he does weird transitions. There we go. And then we can look at from the knee cut, right? So usually, right, as I said before, I encounter the reverse daily Riva mostly from as a person is passing, right? So one of the things, right, his goal is to get this knee to the mat here, right? And then once this happens, it's going to be really, really hard to recover our guard here, or our reverse daily Riva, because now I can't scoop his ankle at all, right? I'm going to have to do something else with the knee bump thing, right? So my goal here is before his knee touches the mat, right? If I can scoop in and make this hook here, right? That'll give me control over the bottom part of his leg, right? So if you can frame, like before you're able to scoop underneath, or use this knee shield to help keep him from progressing forward, right? That'll help until we're able to make this connection here. And once we get our reverse daily Riva set up, right, then I'll be able to kind of push him away a little bit more in order to make these transitions happen, right? But so just go ahead and pass through, right? So sometimes when we get here, right, we need to like build up a little space here, right? So what I like to do is, again, trying to control this knee here, right? And if I'm able to get this knee in front, right, and my foot's already starting to hook into the hip here. Let's rotate. Right, and then from here, I'll be trying to push his weight away. And then once I get the ankle control here, I'm feeling pretty good, right? With his weight back, it's going to be really easy for us to make this transition here and start coming up. Another thing that I like to do, right, is, right, sometimes this foot, like the bottom of the foot is available. Like say you're having trouble coming up underneath this, underneath the, like around his ankle with your arm. Sometimes I like to grab onto the foot here. And can you redistribute your weight to the passing? Right, so by grabbing the foot here, right, we can use this to create a little bit more distance. Things are getting weird. Right, and this is a pretty good grip here, right? So we can use this to set.
grabbing my foot.
Oh,
It's right here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
yeah, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
You're kind of flying it up.
This is weird. I don't know what's happening. Can I borrow your bridge? Yeah. All right. So we'll get here, right? And sometimes, in the case where my arm is crushed under my own leg here, right? If I can get this grip and use this to help elevate here, then we can move to different stuff. But
My hands are on the floor, so
Yeah.
my weight comes up. For yes. Oh, that's so nice.
right, and once his weight is on his hands, right, I have a lot of ability to move myself underneath and get attached to him from behind.
I should do it this way. So you can see. So you're gonna be here. So my knee never touches the floor, right? If my knee touches the floor, so you have that hook too. So it's like it doesn't matter. I can drive all my weight into him. I'm not gonna pass,
Yeah.
right?
But if this
Drops.
if I lose that,
Yeah, that's gonna be bad.
then it's really hard to get any sort of control. So like I'm trying to get this foot almost in the hip here, and then I can.
So no matter how much, like I can put all my weight pretty much down on Kevin right now, and he's just gonna extend, right? My hands go on the floor. Now look how much space he has. He can pretty much do whatever he wants. Ooh.
Right, and similar to this, I like to do this type of movement from half guard as well. Especially if I can get into our butterfly half, right? Very similar movement, but instead of hooking the same leg, by hooking to the inside and kind of getting his weight onto his hands here, right? Then I can start passing my head to the outside, getting locked down onto the hip, and then we can kind of start working on that.
Oh, God.
Very.
A different angle of that one, that was pretty good. I like that one. More like it.
Very similar movement where we're actively trying to scoop ourselves underneath our opponent, right? And using our connection here.
Like a hip scoop.
Yeah. And if I can pass here,
Oh, God.
I like this.
I don't know. Yeah.
Right? It can feel kind of awkward, right? Because I'm not in a really great position to get up immediately unless I let go of my grip, right? But Ethan can't really do much either, right? And I have options for kind of whatever he does because I have such good control over his hips, right? If he chooses to do nothing, we can pop our hips out, right? Let's go. Again, elevated. If I get here, right, I can use my hooks to make space to help pass my head. Right, and then here I like to gable grip and lock his hip down here. Alright, so what do you do, Ethan?
What would I do?
What would you do?
To be honest, admit defeat. I don't really know what I would do from
Do
here.
you tap from here?
No, I wouldn't tap from here.
Okay.
I'd probably, I'd probably start rolling.
Uh-huh.
And that probably isn't going to do me any good, but should I just do it?
Yeah, go for it, see what happens.
Don't go fast, just take your time.
I'm sorry.
Ta-da! Alright.
You're gonna try to salvage your drawers, so you're gonna try to
Yeah.
not get your back kicked,
Yeah.
right? So if a person is, unless they're magic, and there are magic people, they're probably gonna roll to get down to the back, so they don't get their back kicked.
But I think an important aspect to truly focus on is like how I'm using my legs to get my hooks in and help elevate him up here. So, right, from here, right, this hook elevating here. And I've got this either controlling his ankle here or like if he starts getting away from me, right, I can be here, right, and I'm passing and keeping this space in control, right, where if I need to like pop my head up, I can make that happen here. So I'm constantly like monitoring what is controlling like on the inside of his knee here, and I always want like something, right, controlling his leg here, so that I'm never like getting completely squished. Right, one of the when I was a younger belt, like white, blue, purple, brown, I never really liked half guard or deep half because I always felt like I was being squished underneath someone, right? I was just like inviting someone to sit on me. And I couldn't figure out why someone would want to be in that position. But if you have your hooks in right, even though you're underneath them, we're still in control of this position here, right? I can always get a little bit of weight or like give myself a little bit of space, and I'm never being completely squished because I can just make a little bit of room here, right? And then once I get locked in on the hip here, right, I'm not on his back, but I'm on my way there, right? I'm behind him, I've got good hip control, and I can start setting up my back takes here. All right, but it's going to be similar. Go back to the recap for me. All right, similar thing here, right? I'm passing his leg to my other leg as I make this transition, right? And even if he does something like, if he does stuff, right? I'm going to be keeping control over this leg here, and then I can transition to other stuff, right? But like having your legs always be actively following and like sticky hooks is going to be key to making these moves work and to make sure that you don't end up just like inviting someone to sit like on your chest or on your face. All right, one thing that happens a lot to me from here is people like to step over with this leg and like sit through.
Oh,
Probably the other way.
You just like sit through.
Right, no. Push his leg down, bring your right leg over his leg.
am I right?
Yeah, you do that. Yeah. I like it more slow.
All right, so we just have to make sure that we stay like super active with those hooks there and keep them from passing it over. Let's just go. All right, so I like my hand here. I like to keep it on the knee as well. Right, this does it might open you up to Kimura's, but if you're actively messing with his hips here, he ideally won't be able to feel like he's settled enough to take his arms off from working his base, right? Otherwise, this can be dangerous, and you should realize it. But by controlling his knee, I feel a little bit more comfortable because I don't want this knee to pass and him end up in like a mount position. Right, so I'm always kind of monitoring here, right? And then a lot of the times I like to extend, right? And if he's not basing, then he rolls back. If he doesn't, then I can like move to other attacking positions. But I don't have a lot of control over his upper body, so sometimes people roll, sometimes people base and try and stay on top. They can be a little dynamic, but. Alright, so I would like to emphasize when we're here, just like always having these hooks playing and active and being dynamic and following him, right? And when need be, like you can use them to give yourself a little bit of space so we can move around, right? And try and stay attached to the hip. So then if they do roll, we're able to like come up with them as opposed to being caught by surprise. Alright, so, sorry, a lot of weird space. Right? Go ahead and play how you would.
You gotta be like hella vigilant and following me here, or else it might be bad.
Here, I want to interject something here.
Yeah.
If I might. So, when you guys, this is just like a way of thinking about this. This is very similar to like how to set up a lot of leg locks. But step back for a second. When we think, let's say you're training somebody who's a lot bigger than you, or is big, maybe just really strong and solid, right? This is one of those examples of like how you can change the position without being like matching strength, like not trying to come up, right? So it's this is really good. I find I do. I was just doing the shin to shin guard to like get their hands on the ground. All right, so it's a similar concept, but when I'm trying to, if someone's really big and I don't think I can just reverse them and just switch and put their back on the ground, this is a great way of dealing with that situation. So if we're here like this and I manage to get this up, right, if I can get Kevin's hand on the ground, right, his base, right, then all this space more or less opens up, right? And so this I use a lot to just set up a foot lock, right, or a single leg X, okay? And so now look, I have all my legs between us, and it's going to be hard for this big strong guy to just kind of smash into this space. And I just use this to create a big frame, right? A lot of times. I don't do a lot of spinning under, but that's, if I want to take this guy's back, right? I was just here, all that space. Now that becomes really easy. I don't invert hardly ever, right? I just learned this one. I was watching, we were talking about doing like a Ryan Hall review DVD, or not DVD, DVD review. But I really like this idea. Now this is a lot harder for me. I don't generally do this game, but I really want to start working on this because, being able to come underneath and create, these positions, right, without having to move my training partner that much. I mean, the amount that I have to actually move Kevin in that situation is minimal than having to like come up and try to like, whatever, any other way of me trying to physically move my body up through this space and try to like get Kevin. So the one thing that I think helped me a lot is this idea of just thinking about putting his hands on the ground. If you can put the hands on the ground, then all that spinning becomes a lot easier. So if I just sit here, Kevin's here like this, put your leg down, right? And I'm not good at this anyway. I'll keep like a good knee cut. Yes, if I just sit here and I try to get underneath him, look, I mean, his weight is all down on me, it's not gonna happen. And his hands are on me, right? And so the cool thing that Kevin was just showing was he's extending, look, his hands are on the floor, right? His hips are high, right? All this space. Now, we're exaggerating here for illustration purposes, right? But you can spin underneath there, right? But the first step is getting the hands on the floor. If you can get the hands to the floor, then everything else I think becomes a lot easier in order to get, so all the common denominator, all that cool stuff that you're just showing, is like the first step is like getting that kind of that kazushi, that off balance of getting my weight off of him somehow, right? Getting me to push. I'll have to push him here. Now he's gonna do, yeah, see, look, hands on the ground, now look. What was the other one you showed? Just on the standing, right? You had the one from the standing, this you do this.
Half guard, deep cut.
Right, so if I'm here trying to get in, so he's disappearing underneath me. I'm not really changing my orientation. I'm just disappearing. He's like, so if I'm pushing here, coming in, look. And now because my leg's up here, I can't get to his head, right? I can do that maybe, but he's free to do whatever he wants to me underneath me. Oh, that's bad for my knee. That's right. So I just wanted to emphasize that. I mean, this was something that these spins inside really frustrated me for a long time, and they still do to some extent, because I was always thinking of doing it from here or from here, right? Where the person has their hands, their head, their weights kind of into you. And this can be really hard. But I'm not going to pass if I don't have any weight on Kevin. I'll go back. If I just sit back here, I'm never going to pass because I'm taking my weight off. Yeah, he's going to come up. I have to come forward. So as I come forward, that's giving See how he just kept me going forward. He just brought my hips up. And now it's become super easy to do kind of whatever he wants to do underneath me because my weight is in my hands now. At least 50%, probably more. Right? And look at all the contortions that he's able to put me into. Right? So if you can get kind of the easiest way to, I think, of passing is like if I can get the person's hands to the ground. If you can do that, then their body becomes really light, their legs become light, and then I can't do anything offensive to him, right? If I'm passing, what I want is I need to get an underhook, I want to get a cross face, right? So my weight is back, all right? Now Kevin can come up if I don't keep weight forward, right? If I don't keep him down, but if I want to come forward, here, and then he's just gonna, so here, I mean, there's no way I'm gonna grab him effectively without falling on my face. Okay, so.
One thing that I also like is when trying to move a lot of weight, what's really good is like just the ability to get this hip turn here.
And I can't stop, it's really hard as the person on top to stop that movement.
Yeah.
That's jujitsu right there, the hip movement.
Can we go into half guard? Right, and that's what I use a lot for when I'm loading up. Right?
Yes.
This knee, I'll bump the weight forward, and then turn my hips in order to kind of make these transitions happen.
Hands on the floor. Yeah. Oh, that's a good stretch for my hip.
So like my old instructor, John Hill, used to say, call it like an ice cream scoop. Like you're trying to...
Just that little movement, it's like a hip escape, it's like a reverse hip escape.
Yeah.
Right? Here, look. But look, another thing to think of is, guys, is like, look at his posture. He's not curled up. He's not doing that, right? He's keeping his back straight, his head up. And now, well, he can do whatever he wants. Whoa. So that's basically another way of just doing, like putting my hands on the floor over here.
Yeah.
You know?
It's different, but it's like same basic idea and basic motion. It's just like what was different was now your other knee is on the ground instead of having it
right
up here.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
I don't want to put it there because it hurts.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
Right, but like I want to be comfortable like in this position just the same as if their knee goes on the floor, because that's kind of like so step up with this foot and then this knee goes here. Can you do that? And then on the floor. Right, so it's just like two sides of the same deep half coin, right? It's just like my basic ideas are the same. I'm trying to keep my legs underneath behind his knee and controlling his legs and able to elevate, right? If his knees are switched though, it's pretty much the same thing. It's just his weight is distributed differently and like little changes will lead down to different paths, but I'm still like trying to stay underneath, and I've got my hooks in. If he like tries to come up, I'm following him with my hooks and I'm elevating and trying to spread him out and make sure he never feels like he's got his balance and comfortable, right? I want to be always disrupting his base from underneath there. And I like to stay attached to that hip.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times people will like sit back and I need to follow them up, or they'll like roll forward. A lot of crazy stuff can happen. So we want to be in a position where we can follow them without.
Yeah, don't panic or like let go of a position just because somebody does that stuff. Like, I mean, I can do a lot of different things, like move my weight around, but the fundamental, like our orientation is not going to change. So even if Kevin's, here, do whatever you want to do. Here, he comes in, right? Oh, he gets me into like this weird X. This is like, you're actually like this leg should be over there, I think, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right. So like, what am I going to do here? So if he stays tight, right, and keep it, here tight, like I can't physically, like what I would do is I'd probably try to step on these feet, like try to push these feet away. So keep it, right? So if I'm pushing down on these feet, right, now Kevin is not going to wait for, yes, look, he's going to come up. He doesn't have to like let go and start scrambling around, right? Even if I go, we could be just in here. Let's say I go to my knee, right? And I'm here in this position right here. Kevin doesn't have to do anything right now. right? I'm not gonna pass.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to get over this knee, and this is, in order to get over the knee, I have to bring my weight up. So Kevin doesn't have to scramble to come up at all. You know, he can wait here. I don't really, I'm gonna start pushing here, but you know, I'm not gonna shed this, just hold it, right? I'm gonna, even if I got that leg off, like maybe, yeah, and then he's gonna heel hook me, right? Or he's gonna heel hook me, worse, right? So you don't have to, like he doesn't have to, let's put it this way, he can wait and see, to see what I do, right? Or if I can't clear this leg, right? Let's say, no, keep it on your shoulder. Right? If he just gets tired of sitting here, he just sits up. I can't stop him. My weight's already far back here. So I can't really move very quickly anymore because my hip is hurting me. But even if the person is like floating, driving up here, right? I mean, there's not much that I can actually do. I mean, I could probably turn and give up my back or my leg. That's about the freedom of movement that I've got. So be patient down there. I see a lot of people who get into these good positions and then they try to come up too fast, or, you know, and they lose everything.
Yeah.
You know, be patient.
Yeah, like see what people do. There's going to be things that people do a lot, and just like as you get comfortable in hanging out in the position, and you get comfortable with like controlling the hips and keeping your hooks in place and able to kind of mess with their weight, then see how people react, and you'll start to be able to predict where people go based on where their weight is, and then use that to kind of come up and follow them up, which is really nice.
What's really cool about this is that when you do that spin, you can go to the back, right? Or you can set up a lot of different guards and leg entanglements. I mean, you went through a bunch of them. I mean, that kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Flexibility or versatility is really powerful because it just keeps the person on top guessing. If all you ever do is like single leg X, like me, you know, you become a little predictable. But if you can go from different situations, different leg entanglements, now you can start attacking legs, maybe you can go to the back. Now you're into a single leg X or an X or a reverse X. You've got so many options in there from that nice spin. You know, you can go deep half, right?
And you can get comfortable with being in positions that don't have names, right? Like make that unnamed territory your territory. Like I'm starting to get really comfortable with.
That
I've
foot
been
is awesome.
Getting comfortable here,
This is
right? This doesn't have a name that I know of, but I've been bringing people.
I just
here
struggled
a lot.
to name this one. This is the unnameable.
And it's just, I get here a lot, so I'm like trying to figure out what people do and where people go and, you know, all sorts of fun stuff. And it's like, I can't really like look it up because I don't know the name of it if it has one. But, you know, just like getting comfortable in places where other people don't find themselves. That way you can really like carve out your niche and be a master of certain positions that you find yourself in a lot, right? You don't only have to be in positions that are commonly known. And I think that's one of the more fun things about like being a blue or purple or brown belt is, you know, that's when your own individual jiu-jitsu starts coming through and you can, you know, carve out your own niche, is what I like to think of it as. Like being used to existing in all the in-between spaces. And if you start to be able to recognize patterns, it's really beneficial. Like being able to thrive in the transitional positions, like the positions that are in between everything that has a name, has a whole lot of value. And that's when things really start getting weird.
Well, you see that on that's like both sides of the coin, is you see people who they'll pass, they'll attack in those transitions, right? Because if you're going from a set guard to a set guard or a set pass to a set pass, then everybody kind of knows, and then it's just a question of execution. But then when you're in between those things, like you're saying, where it's not something where, you know, like we all have 20 ways to pass a closed guard, or 20 ways to pass the half guard, 20 ways to, you know, you can just pick you have a menu of things that you can do. But like what you're saying is, okay, we're in this position that, you know, good luck finding.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
like unless you went down this specific route, it's really hard to get into that position.
Yeah.
So if that's the route you like to take, you know, like getting comfortable with the consequences of those techniques, I think is really valuable.
Good stuff.
It's fun.
Thanks, Coach Kevin.
Thank you.
All right, guys, if you have any questions, put them in the comment or Facebook below, and we'll see you tomorrow. All right, be good, make good decisions.